it is not a simple term. It is not like, oh, you are my neighbor, fine, we are going to get along good. It is beyond that. It is trust, friendship, knowing what they need, whether they are going hungry or not, are they employed, do they have any kind of conditions that we know of, we should know of, do they need anything, are they having some hard times, did they lost anybody in their family? These things that we are concerned, not being nosy, not being wondering about what's going on in their house, nothing like that, but rather to know the needs or the things that, I mean, they may be in need. And another statement by Muhammad, which is also written here upon him, he said, Angel Gabriel talked about the neighbors, rights of neighbors, so much to me. He kept going on. He basically kept on talking about the rights of neighbors. So much, I thought that a neighbor will inherit the property of the neighbor when the other dies. I thought that, I had an impression that eventually neighbors will be inheriting each other's property. But of course, that's not the case. Family members inherit the property of when an individual dies. But that basically gives you the idea that how important the rights of neighbors between each other. And he also says, the one who goes full while his neighbor goes hungry cannot be a true believer. That's another statement by Muhammad. And another, we call this hadith, statement, sayings of Muhammad upon the peace. The one who believes in God and the hereafter and the judgment day should either speak good things or keep silent. The one who believes in God and also in the hereafter should be kind towards his neighbor, towards their neighbors. The one who believes in God and the judgment day should be generous to his guests. This is one of the hadiths. And in Christianity, we have Christian guests here tonight. This is also true for Jewish tradition, right? Be kind towards your neighbor. And sometimes I think some Jewish rabbis they describe the whole practice, religious practice, as demand whatever you want for yourself or your neighbor, something like that. That may be better paraphrasing. Have you ever heard about that? I have seen that they basically summarize the whole practice as whatever you want for yourself, you have to be willing to give or share with your neighbor, something like that. Let's go to the next one. There are some comparisons between Old Testament, Torah, and also Quran verses. There are parallels, and I'm not going to go one by one. It is basically there was corruption in the land, and people didn't listen to him, and God ordered them to build an ark. Let's go to the next slide. I talked about a little bit engineering. What kind of project is that? You are building an ark at the top of the hill. There is no water. Is it rational? People coming and teasing you, saying that now you are old and you are getting given, you are basically losing your mind. The river is, or the sea is basically 1 mile down the hill. You are building a boat in here, the huge one. Rumi, one of the poets from Anatolia, he says, start a crazy project like no one. Let everybody laugh at you, but do whatever it is right. Start a crazy project like no one. Build the ark, no matter what people say about it. Similarly, our projects in here, as Dallas Islamic Center, we are doing minor things like that. Well, it's a huge project, of course, but we don't care much about what others say. We rather want to do whatever it is right. Small steps, but we just basically follow it. Let's go to the next one. And 2 pairs of each kind is also referenced in both Quran and also Torah, Old Testament. And there are also references about where the ark settled down. This is Mount Ararat, or Ağrı Dağı, as we say in Turkish. Arabic may be Judy, and Judy actually may be a different mountain, I'm not so sure. But traditional people believe that the ark settled on this mountain. And there is a certain place, actually, I think this is a picture, looks like a little bit like a huge boat, as if settled down years ago. But we just can't confirm it exactly. Some people believe in that there are some tourists visiting there. What we know is, as Quran states, the boat settled down in the mountain which is called Judi, and then people or the nations basically spread out from that incident all over the world again. There are some references of flood in different traditions. Almost all major traditions, religions, have some kind of poetic flood legends. You can find in subcontinent India, you can find in Africa, and there are some references here, China, Greek. There is even some old tradition, probably one of the oldest legends from Scandinavia, Kalavala, I think the name is, I'm not so sure. There are some references that the whole world is covered with water. Even Sumerian tablets from ancient times of Mesopotamia talks about some kind of flood. It may be legendary, it may be half true, we don't know. But some scholars believe that this may be because it indeed happened, and that's why they had these reflections within those different cultures. One question may be whether the whole earth is covered by water. Some people claim that physically it may not be possible because there's not much water, things like that. Some scholars explain that at the time human settlement was in a certain location, and they even sometimes give geographic references, and because of the blockage of water bodies, heavy rain and things like that, everything is flooded. This may be an explanation, we don't know. But if Quran says it is certain for us, we basically don't make an issue of dispute. It may be rather some interpretation. So we believe that it indeed happened. Next one. Lessons from Noah's Ark. No, Mr. Bo. Okay. Yeah, remember we were there. Quran actually says, when it talks about the messengers, when we met, and from the generations of the people we carried with Noah. He says, "Min zurriyeti Adem ve min zurriyeti İbrahim ve mimmen hamelna." Basically, from the generations of Adam, from the generations of Abraham, and from the generations of people we carried on the boat. If we assume that this is a very reasonable assumption, the whole mankind traveling in a vessel. Imagine again, our great-great-fathers, grandfathers, traveling there. I was there, you were there, he is there, she is there. Everybody traveling just like a family. We can see the unity, feeling of togetherness, and even feeling of weakness, because the whole mankind is together. And it has to be, we have to plan ahead, because it is not an easy task. We just have to project what we need to do for future. And stay fit, it says here, 950 years is kind of old, but you have to be going through big projects. And do not listen to critics. I already mentioned that. Don't matter what they say. It is crazy, you are a madman. You just say, go your way, I have to do this, I'll do it. God is my guide.